Those under quarantine due to the threat of coronavirus will not mix with others.
Well, let's take this on. I'm pleased to say we have Patricia Scotland, who's Secretary General of the Commonwealth of Nations, which includes most of the Pacific Island nations, and joins us from London via Skype. Secretary General, appreciate having you here on the programme to talk about this important issue. Sadly, natural disasters don't stop as humanity deals with this pandemic, and now our region is under serious threat on multiple fronts.
And so many people in the small island states will be terrified by this because, if you like, it's the perfect storm. We, as you know, in the Commonwealth are 54 countries. That's 2.4 billion people, and 60% of them are under the age of 30. But we have 32 small countries, and 24 of those are small island states. Now, the devastating problem that we have is for the small states. They are extremely vulnerable on a number of fronts. So the climate challenge, which we have seen again and again strike, is striking now at exactly the same moment as this pandemic is seizing control of people's lives and imaginations and creating real threats. So the climate change, together with the coronavirus pandemic, is a lethal combination for these small island states, but the small states in general. And it really exacerbates their vulnerability. So what we are trying to do is to say, okay, if we have this multiplicity of difficulties, how can we respond better? How we can make the Commonwealth countries more resilient? How can we pool our knowledge, our expertise? We find out what works and what we don't, and what doesn't work. Because we are seeing right now that it's not just a health pandemic. This is going to cause a tsunami when it comes to the economic fallout of this. And when you combine that with a real climatic emergency, we really have to see that this, unfortunately, may be our new norm. So how do we respond to this?
Right.
And I think it's absolutely clear we cannot do it on our own.
Right. Secretary General, I just wanted to come in there because when it comes to COVID-19 and this immediate problem of the health issue and the impending health issue that could strike many of these countries that don't yet have any cases, does this natural disaster that's happened, the cyclone that swept through, does it threaten those islands? And are those islands now at more risk from getting COVID-19 within their nations?
Well, they are justifiably frightened because, as you know, one of the things we have discovered that works is the social distancing. So if these cyclones hit and people have to congregate in smaller places, the worry is, how do you keep that social distancing? How do you keep that prevention solid, and how do you make that difference? And that's why, if you look at what the Secretariat is doing, we've created the Coronavirus Resource Centre. We are looking at the data, we're looking at how we can maximise the information going to our countries. But there are some real problems, because if people aren't able to fly in because of the lockdown, if we're not able to distribute those sorts of benefits that we have, then it's going to be even more important that the virtual help, assistance and guidance that we're trying to pool gets in there. And that brings us into this whole issue of the digital divide, because we in the Secretariat have maintained a platform which can deal with those on 2G, 3G, 4G, but 5G is coming. Many of our countries don't have that level of flexibility to enable the interoperability that we need on that digital platform to take place. So what we are now doing is to see how we can maintain the connectivity that we need using the elements that are already there. So data is incredibly important. And if you go onto our innovation hub on the Commonwealth website, which is www.commonwealth.org, you will see that data amalgamation is starting to happen. But
Secretary General, we are going to have to leave it there. I do apologise for jumping in. We're just coming towards the end of the show. We need to move on. But thank you again for your time and bringing to our attention this important story. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
Now, the pandemic has cast a spotlight